All right, so it is finally time to tear into the Cummins. I'm able to get it into my garage here pretty nicely. I had to move quite a few things around, but I've got kind of all my tools over here, welding and other power tools over there, and then of course the engine hoist right here. It's really nice, just connected right to the house. So anyways, what I'm planning on doing, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough room. I'm gonna have to utilize my jacks and hopefully get the NV4500 out from under there. We'll see how that works. I've been watching a lot of videos on it, taking everything apart, and it's going to be probably one of the biggest, undergoings I've ever done. But with the help of the internet and YouTube, anything's possible, which is the whole point of making this video. So anyways, what I'm going to start by doing is removing this front cowl support. Of course, I need to drain all the fluids. So, obviously the coolant, which will drain from the bottom of the radiator, the oil from the engine, what else? The oil from the the transmission, which is, you can't see that right now. I'm gonna have to get under the truck for you to see that. And obviously things like taking the battery off and, all that fun stuff. So I'm really just going to time lapse most of this so at least you can see me doing it. And then if there's anything that's out of the ordinary, I'll kind of make a note to say, this is why I did it this way, expect this, etc., etc. Anyways, let's start tearing into this old Dodge. Get the Cummins out. So we remove this front clip that comes over the intercooler here. It's just a few bolts up here. And of course I just pulled the bumper. So now we have more access to the front. I may or may not end up just grinding this off. We'll figure out that problem when we get to it. But for now, I'm going to undo the intercooler piping, which is going to be up behind here on the back side of this intercooler. Luckily, I don't have to worry about clearing the AC system because somebody's already cut it here. Yeah, so here's part of the intercooler piping, and it's just these little V-band style clamps. Get a 10 mil on the end of that and zip those off. So I might have missed where the petcock is for the radiator, but what I'm doing is I'm just gonna lose the coolant through this little lower radiator piping right here. So I'm just gonna lose all the coolant real quick. That's gonna give me more access to the intercooler tubing. I can't pull the intercooler off because it's kind of seized on there. I just need to be able to twist. You can see where it's separated a little bit from that coupler. I just need to, you know how a rubber hose, you just need to break that seal kind of. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the coolant drain, get this hose out of the way. All right, so I've got pretty much as far as I need to get, I think, for the front part of the engine. So pretty much everything that I believe I need to take off in order to pull the engine out is off the front. There's probably a few more things I'm missing, but what I'm gonna end up doing, most likely, since this is going to the junker, the scrapyard, and it's gonna be not sold for parts or anything, I'm just going to cut here, I think. We'll see. I'm gonna cut here and through here on both sides, just so I can clear that a lot easier. That should allow me to just basically just pull it straight out. Obviously it's going to be coming up too. I've got one engine support here, and then I have to find if there's another one in the back, or if I'm just gonna have to use a head bolt or something. I don't know, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I might be able to use a head bolt like underneath a valve cover. Still, I'm not too familiar with Cummins engines, which I will be soon, but anyways, now I'm gonna have to crawl underneath the truck and get a look at the NV4500 to see exactly how it's gonna go about pulling it out of there. So here we go. So it looks like we've got 4 of these little 8mm bolts that are holding these straps to the U-joint. So now that we have that off, this whole joint can just come off relatively easily. So I need to take that carrier bearing support off that cross member, and then the whole thing should just drop out. All right, I'm working on, there's 4 bolts holding the cross member to the frame rail. This one right here, and those 2 are obviously the bushing that's holding the tail stock up. I also forgot you got to take obviously the clutch slave cylinder out. I'm gonna zip tie it up there just so it stays out of the way and doesn't get damaged during taking the bell housing out. All right, so it appears that there's a couple like little 7 or 8 mil fasteners, so I'm gonna zip those off. This collar's gotta come up now. It's like a little skirt basically. You gotta get 2 screwdrivers, push and rotate at the same time. There we go. And just like that. So there's the little engraving that you have to just push down and just get it over that little lip. So the issue I'm having now is this cross member is not wanting to come down. Okay, I can see I'm getting movement on this cross member, so that's good. I'm gonna keep working with this. Whew. Okay, well, there you go. This thing is heavy. I'm not going to take this apart just yet. Obviously, this is your input shaft, and this would be the proverbial output shaft to the Toyota transfer case, which I'm going to keep, but there'll be an adapter plate going from here to there. But first, I actually do have to find a 4-wheel drive tailstock, because this is the 2-wheel drive tailstock, and it's just too long. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this segment of taking the engine out. Yeah, so we got the NV4500 out. We're getting really close to getting ready to take the engine out. I don't have an engine stand yet. I'm waiting for somebody on Facebook Marketplace to respond to me. And I've also got a lot of people asking for parts. Apparently the dashes in these are really hard to come by, one that's not cracked, and this doesn't have any cracks in it. So I'm gonna be pulling some parts tonight just to get rid of those, to try and salvage extra money from the carcass, and then I'll probably just end up going to the scraps. Tune in soon to see the engine removal, and then the whole fun process starts of building the engine, rebuilding the transmission, showing you guys everything you need to know if you want to do the same swap. Remember, there's over 1 million of these, made, so they're out there. If you can find one, rebuild it, can have a Cummins swap Land Cruiser too. Anyways, until next time, I will see you guys at the Gojo factory.